All right, class. Now for today's lecture, we'll be looking at syllable and stress. Okay, so these are two important topics under the sound system of English. So syllable here is an aspect and stress is equally another aspect. Now, what do we refer to as syllable? In a word, syllable refers to the different divisions that constitute a word. Now, basically, in a word, different units come together to form it. So syllable refers to the breaking down of a word into different units. For instance, if you have a longer word such as communication, all right, different units comes together to form the word communication. Now, in the word communication, you can possibly have different units that constitute it. Those different units are called syllables. So syllables refer to syllable refers to the breaking or the division of a word into different sound units. All right? So this involves the breaking down of a word into different sound units. So these sound units come together to form a word. For instance, look at the word like communication. All right. Now, in a word like communication, the word can be broken down into different syllables. The first syllable is CO hyphen. The second syllable is MMU hyphen. The third syllable is NI. The fourth syllable is CA. And the final syllable is TION. All right, so these are different syllables that constitute the word communication. We can also have another word such as information. Now, in a word like information, you have the syllabic division as IN hyphen FOR hyphen MA hyphen TION. Now, for syllabic division, I would prefer you use the hyphen, all right, instead of the forward slash. So use the hyphen. That helps you to break words into different syllables. Let's take another word. For instance, let's have professional. Professional. So in professional, you have a syllabic division as PROFESSIONAL. Now let me explain some basic concepts about how some letters are being brought together. Now what are they? Now you can only bring two letters together if they produce exactly the same sound. What do I mean by that? Let me give you an instance. You can see that the double letter M are being brought together. The reason is because both letters produce or project the same sound. Now, if two letters project two different sounds, you have to separate them. That's the rule to syllabic division. Let me give you an example of what I mean by that. Take a look at the word like this. How do you pronounce this word? This word is pronounced as access. Access. In other words, it means that the first letter C represents or projects the sound K, and the second letter C projects the sound S. Now, in this case, if I ask you to engage in syllabic division of the word access, it means that these two letters C needs to be separated. The reason is because they project different sounds entirely. Take a look at this syllabic division, AC-CESS. Is that taken? Now, the reason for the separation is this first letter C has a different sound from the second letter C. Okay? So when you go to the bank, you don't say, I'm going to Access Bank. No, I'm going to Access Bank. Access Bank. So that should be the right pronunciation for the word. Is that understood, class? Now let's proceed. The same happens to professional. You can see that the two double letter S are being brought together. The reason is because it projects exactly the same sound when you transcribe. Can you see? So it projects exactly the same sound when you transcribe. So here, by now, I believe you should be able to divide words into different syllables. Let me give you a drill. I'm going to write 5 words, and I'll have you engage in syllabic division of each of the words. Shall we? Now, let's see. So the instruction is this. Make a syllabic division. Make a syllabic division of these words. All right, so make a syllabic division of these words. The first word is this. I may not be able to pronounce because if I do, you're likely to get the answer. 2. Then 3. Then 4. And 5, which is the last word. Let me give you profitable. Let me pronounce that. All right, so make a syllabic division for each of these words. I'm going to give you a little time for you to try this, and let's see. Kindly send your answers in the chat box, okay? I'm going to give you a few minutes before we take the correction altogether. Let me allow you to attempt this, and let's see. So, provide a syllabic division for each of those words. I need to say it. Try it out and let's see. All right, class. Now let's look at the correction. Let's look at the correction to this exercise. Are you ready? Now, let me have you pronounce the first word. Can you make a trial on your own? Let's see. How do you usually pronounce this word? Now, this word is pronounced as comfortable. Comfortable. All right? Don't say comfortable. Rather, you should say comfortable. Comfortable. That means in syllabic division, what you have is C-O-M-F. All right? That's comf. Comf. Then you have O-R. Now remember, the O-R is an hyphen. Yes, the O and R syllable is an hyphen. Oh, it's a schwa sound rather. It's a schwa sound. Now the schwa sound does not produce any articulated sound. So after O-R, you have T-A, then B-L-E. So you have comfortable. So we only stress the first syllable, second, and the last syllable. So our attention is only on the first syllable, okay? Then the second to the last syllable and the last syllable. So the OR is a schwa sound. It's usually not produced or pronounced. So what I mean by that is we only pronounce comfortable. Look at it. Comfortable. Comfortable. So the emphasis is on the first syllable, the second to the last syllable, and the last syllable. So that's where the emphasis is. So the OR is a schwa sound. It's not usually produced or pronounced. I hope you got the explanation quite right. Now, comfortable, the emphasis is on the first syllable, second to the last syllable, and last syllable. So the OR is a schwa sound. So schwa sounds are not usually articulated or produced. So schwa sounds don't have an accurate pronunciation. So that's why you have comfortable. So please, for instance, if you have a guest at home, you could say, please make yourself comfortable. You shouldn't say, please make yourself comfortable. No, it's not pronounced or produced as comfortable. It is rather pronounced as comfortable. I hope you got that right. Now let's proceed to the next word. Now you have the next word, commission. Commission. Is that taken? Now, here you have CO hyphen MMI hyphen. I'm going to explain the reason why the two letters, all right, are being brought together. So MMI, then SSION. Now, these two letter M produce or suggest the same sound. That's why I have to bring both of them together. Now, the two letter S, the same thing, suggests exactly the same sound. Jeune, 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 commission. Now, look at the third word, international. 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 What's the syllabic division? Let's go. So you have IN hyphen TER hyphen NA hyphen TION hyphen AL. All right. So look at this. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 5 syllables. And that's mostly called polysyllabic or multisyllabic word. Is that taken? Now, look at the syllabic division for international. I hope you got that right with yours. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's look at the fourth word. What do you have? Confessional. Confessional. Now, in confessional, you have CONFESSION. Then you have AL. That's a syllabic division. That's a syllabic division of the word confessional. Confessional. Is that taken? Now, look at the fifth word, profitable. Profitable. And join me. Let's look at the syllabic division. PROFITA, then BLE. This is the syllabic division of the word profitable. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? That's 4 syllables. That's regarded as polysyllabic word. It is regarded as polysyllabic word. Now, what have you learned, class? I started by the definition of what a syllable is. Then I moved on to give an example on how to perform a syllabic division. After that, I was able to explain to you the reason why you could have some letters being brought together. Okay, 2 letters being brought together as a syllable. And why you could have 2 letters being separated, okay, as different syllables. I was able to explain that to you. The reason is 2 letters can only come together, okay, as a syllable if they project the same sound. And you can have 2 letters being separated to form different syllables if they project different sounds. Is that taken now? The same thing applies here. In commission, you can have 2 letters, 2 same letters being together because they produce exactly the same sound. The same thing happens in confessional. Okay? Now, let's proceed to the other aspects of syllable. Okay? Let me ask you a question. If a word contains just 1 syllable, what do you call that? I mean, one word that contains just 1 syllable. A word that contains just 1 syllable, what would you call that? Let me hear you. Monosyllabic word, right? That's correct. So, a word with 1 syllable, a word with 1 syllable is called a monosyllabic word. A monosyllabic word is called a monosyllabic word. That is a word with one syllable is called a monosyllabic word. For instance, you can have a word like, let's have car, that's one syllable. Okay, you could have fish, that's also one syllable. You could have pen, that's one syllable. You could have, let's have book, that's still one syllable, and many more. So now, each of these words, okay, are regarded as monosyllabic words. Each of them are regarded as monosyllabic words. Now let's proceed to the next part. A word, that's one word, a word with two syllables, a word with two syllables, a word with two syllables is known as bisyllabic. Can you say that? So you can call it bisyllabic or disyllabic. You can call it disyllabic. So now, if you have a word with two syllables, okay, that is known as bisyllabic or disyllabic. For instance, you have a word like farmer. So farmer is F-A-R-M-E-E-R. That's farmer. You can have a word like teacher, T-E-A-C-H-E-R. That's teacher. You can have a word like table, T-A, then B-E-R, no, B-L-E, that's table. You can also have a word like brother, B-R-O-T-H-E-R, that's brother. You can as well have a word like sister, okay, S-I-S, then T-E-R, and many more. So these are examples of bisyllabic or disyllabic word, meaning one word that contains two syllables. For example, farmer is just one word which contains two syllables. The same applies to teacher, table, brother, sister, and the rest of that. Is that taken? Now let's proceed to the next aspect that we have for today. A word that contains three syllables. A word that contains three syllables. Okay, such word is known as a polysyllabic word. A polysyllabic is known as a polysyllabic word, or a multisyllabic word. A multisyllabic word. Do you understand, class? A word, just one word, that contains three syllables. Okay? Such word is known as a polysyllabic word or a multisyllabic word. Let me give you an instance. Take a look at this part. What do you have? Comfortable. Now, you can see that comfortable is one word that contains three syllables. Okay? Now, the emphasis is on com, tail, and b. Do you see that now? So, comfortable. Comfortable. Now, look at the next word, commission. Three syllables as well. C-O-M-M-I-S-S-I-O-N. Commission. Then, international. International. You can see. So, first syllable, second, third, fourth, and fifth syllable. Is that taken? Now, confessional. Also a multisyllabic or a polysyllabic word. Why? Look at the example. C-O-N-F-E-S-S-I-O-N-A-L. So how many syllables do you have? 1, 2, 3, and 4 syllables. Now, profitable. In profitable, how many syllables do you have? You have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 syllables. I hope this is clear. Now, let's move to the next aspect of this lecture. I want us to look at the structure of a syllable. The structure of a syllable. Let's look at the structure of a syllable. I'm going to explain the structure of a syllable to you. What are the structure of a syllable? Let's look at them one after another. The structure of a syllable. So, class, what are the structures? Structures of a syllable. What are the structures of a syllable? The first one is known as ultimate. Okay? Is known as ultimate. Now, class, what's ultimate? Ultimate is known as the final syllable. Okay? Is known as the final syllable. Is known as the final syllable or the last syllable. The final syllable or the last syllable. Please don't forget, ultimate is known as the final syllable or the last syllable. 2. Penultimate. 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 Now, penultimate is known as the second to the last syllable. Is known as the second to the last syllable. Okay? Now, third, that's number 3. You have antepenultimate. Antepenultimate. What's the meaning of antepenultimate? That's the third to the last syllable. The third to the last syllable. The third to the last syllable. So look at this, class. Then we can also have the first syllable. The first syllable. Okay? You can also have the first syllable. Now pay attention to this. These are the structures of an English syllable. The first aspect is known as the ultimate, which is the final syllable. That's the last syllable in a word. Now, penultimate means the second to the last syllable in a word. Now, the antepenultimate syllable means the third to the last syllable in a word. Then, obviously, we have the first syllable. Now, let me tell you, to identify the ultimate, penultimate, and antepenultimate syllable, you need to start counting from the end. I hope you got this. Let me take it again. To identify the ultimate, penultimate, and antepenultimate syllable, you need to begin counting from the end. Is that taken now? Let me give an example. If you have the word such as information, I-N-F-O-R-M-A, then T-I-O-N. This is the word information. What is the first thing to do? I need to make a syllabic division, right? Now the syllabic division is I-N-F-O-R-M-A- then T-I-O-N. Is that taken? Now, how do I identify the different structures of the syllable in this word information? The T-I-O-N is known as the ultimate. Is that taken? The M-A is known as the penultimate. You can see that I'm writing the name there. The F-O-R is known as the antepenultimate. I hope you can also identify this yourself. Then the I-N is known as the what? The first syllable. Now, if you examine this very well, I started by the end. The T-I-O-N, which is the ultimate, that's the last syllable. Then M-A is the penultimate.